minute. 1 minute.
A very warm welcome to Monmore Green, Wolverhampton, for this, the second home fire test between Great Britain and the USA. The track here, one of the smaller ones in British Speedway, and that again could well suit the Americans, who well and truly dominated the first test at Bellevue last month, winning by 68 points to 40. So not an easy task for the home fire lines tonight, as they bid for a victory that they desperately need to keep alive their hopes in this series, which ends at Swindon next month. No home track advantage for Great Britain here tonight. Wolverhampton's Graham Jones would have been in the squad, but he misses out with a broken wrist sustained 3 weeks ago. So from this lineup, England will look to the likes of captain Gary Havelock, Kelvin Tatum and Joe Screen as their main point scorers. Well, the Americans have 3 riders in their squad who know every inch of this track. The 2 brothers, Sam and Charles Ermolenko, plus Ronnie Corey, regularly ride here for Wolverhampton, so they'll feel very much at home tonight. The rest of the squad, Bobby Ott, Greg Hancock, Billy Hamill, Kelly Moran and Josh Larson, each of them very experienced and very talented. Well, the meeting here to be raced over 18 heats for the benefits of any new viewers. Great to have you watching. Sit back and enjoy it. It's 3 points for a win, 2 for second, 1 for third. Each race has 4 riders, 2 from each side, and each race consists of 4 laps. Here we can see the lineup for Heat 1, Gary Havelock and Andrew Silver appearing in red and blue respectively for England. And for the Americans, it's Ronnie Corey in white and in yellow-black, Bobby Ott. So the riders facing the tapes for the first time here tonight at Monmore Green. The referee flicks the switch, the tapes rise, the clutches open and away they go. And the early leader is Ronnie Corey with Gary Havelock up on the inside. Corey in the white helmet colour, leading Havelock in second place, and back there in third is Bobby Ott. So America in first and third places in Heat 1. Andrew Silver just nipping through on the inside there of Bobby Ott. Ott has the outside line, Silver on the inside. This is really where the race is here in Heat number 1 for third place. Silver holding that inside line, and Bobby Ott rather locking up there on the turn. And Silver now clearly showing in third place. Great chance here for Andrew Silver. He's been in the international wilderness really for the past few seasons. Never really blossomed and fulfilled all the potential that he showed a few seasons ago. But back in the international reckoning tonight, holding third place as the riders complete the 4 laps. A victory there for Ronnie Corey of the USA. Scored 9 points, in fact, in the first test. So Ronnie Corey, the winner. Home track advantage really counting right at the outset tonight. Points shared, 3 apiece. So moving on to heat number 2, the riders coming out on the circuit preparing for this one. It's Kelvin Tatum in red, Marvin Cox's partner here in blue. They're the British lads. For the Americans, it's the Cradley Heath pairing of Greg Hancock and Billy Hamill. Hancock in white, Hamill just returning from injury in yellow-black. England riding tonight in red and blue throughout, and the Americans appearing in the white and yellow-black helmet colours. So after an even start, the first race won by Corey, with Havelock in second and Silver third, 3 points apiece, an even start. Here we go with heat number 2. Away they go. Looks like a good start from Cox from gate 2, but Hamill away well from that inside. Hamill then the early leader. Marvin Cox right up there in second place. Tatum at the back. And Greg Hancock looking for the inside line. The race really on for second. Marvin Cox goes a little wide, and Greg Hancock there sees his opportunity. But then Cox quickly closes the door, but now Hancock does sweep through. Billy Hamill then, the leader for the USA, and his Cradley Heath team partner tonight for the USA. Hancock now through to second position. Certainly it was a good start from Cox, but well, the Americans just love it here at Monmore Green, one of these smaller tracks in British Speedway, and so akin to the circuits that they're used to back home in sunny California. So heat number 2 won comfortably there by Billy Hamill. Second, Greg Hancock, and coming through to take third in the red, Kelvin Tatum. So 5-1 for the Americans in heat number 2. They now lead by 4 points to 8 after a couple, 8 points to 4 after a couple of races. On to the next piece of action of tonight's test match. This is the second in a series of 3. This is heat 3 featuring Joe Screen and Chris Louis. And for the USA, it's Samo Malenko and Kelly Moran. It's Kelly Moran in yellow-black. He's been riding in test matches over here for the past 11 years. Earlier this season, he threatened to retire from the international scene, but then had a change of heart. Joe Screen in red from Bellevue, Chris Louis from Ipswich in blue, Samo Malenko from here in Wolverhampton in white, Kelly Moran at yellow-black. Away they go, and what a start from Southern Sam Ermolenko. Ermolenko leads it, but then goes wide. Screen sees his chance. Chris Louis up there as well in third place. So America lead it through Ermolenko, but Ermolenko now being pushed very hard by Screen and Louis. Both Englishmen showing up well here in the early stages of heat 3. USA holding an early 4-point lead. They dominated the first test. Well and truly went to town at Bellevue. And here they have established an early lead. Ermolenko knows every inch of this circuit, of course, so well. Rides here regularly for Wolverhampton. One of the top point scorers in the world at the moment. Qualified last weekend for this year's World Final. Scored 14 points, in fact, in the semi-final in Austria, which put him on the rostrum as runner-up. Screen pushing hard, trying everything that he can around the outside. Screen just, in fact, losing a little bit of ground, if anything, right at the finish, but a gallant last bid, just failing. Sam Ermolenko, who takes the checkered flag, the winner of heat 3. Second, great effort from Joe Screen, and in third place, also for England, Chris Louis. So the points shared in heat number 3, it's 3 points apiece. The Americans leading by 11 points to 7 now after 3 races. On to heat number 4. And this time we've got Kelvin Tatum and Marvin Cox representing England. And it's Ronnie Curry and Bobby Ott wheeling out here for the US of A. Tatum red, Cox blue, Curry in white, and Bobby Ott in yellow-black. Let's see what they make of the start this time. They get away cleanly. Good start from the inside from Bobby Ott. Bobby Ott's the Bellevue rider. Makes the early trap. Second place for England, it's Kelvin Tatum. Marvin Cox in third. Cox just takes Tatum, in fact, a little bit wide. And that gives Ronnie Curry, perhaps at the back, the chance to show what he's made of. Curry, in fact, now through to third place, just about. Great scrap for third between Tatum, who's wide on the outside line, and Curry holding a tight inside. No problems for the leader, Bobby Ott. Leads up front. Second spot now, Marvin Cox. Tatum still just hanging on to that third place, but coming under an awful lot of pressure from the little man from Wolverhampton, Ronnie Curry. So the race again on for the minor placings. Bobby Ott with things very much to himself up front, in sensational form in the first test at Bellevue. His home track, of course, scored a full maximum, 18 points from 6 rides. Tatum loses out in the race for third place. Curry it is who gets through to grab the point. So heat 4, a victory then for Bobby Ott. Second, Marvin Cox. Third place, Ronnie Curry. A 4-2 for the Americans then, who now lead by 15 points to 9 after 4 races. So with the USA leading here in the second test, this is where we take a short break. Join us again for more Speedway action from Wolverhampton in a couple of minutes. This is Edwin Overland welcoming you back to Monmore Green, Wolverhampton, where the USA lead by 15 points to 9 after 4 heats. The riders now preparing for the next piece of tonight's test match action. This is Heat 5, featuring Joe Screen, Chris Louis, Greg Hancock and Billy Hamill. England, remember, in the red and blue helmet colours, the USA in white and the yellow-black striped helmet colour. So Screen, Louis, Hancock and Hamill as the tapes rise on heat number 5. Getting away well from the outside, Greg Hancock, Chris Louis away quickly as well for England. Chris Louis up in second place, Hancock the early leader. Screen in third, but Screen quickly coming around the outside of his teammate Chris Louis. And Joe Screen now takes up the challenging second place. Hancock the leader, Screen looking likely in second spot. What can he do? The young man from Bellevue, Manchester. Screen tries the outside. Thinks twice about that. Hancock goes a little wide. Hancock from the USA leads by a couple of lengths. Screen still pushing hard, challenging, looking for the chance. Has it appeared now for him on the inside? Not quite. Switches to that outside line. Cuts back on the inside, gets his wheels back in line. Hancock leading on the inside. Screen now keeps it all turned on around the outside line. And Screen just gets up to get the verdict, does he? What a tremendous climax to heat number 5. Great finish. And Joe Screen, well, he thinks he's won it, and indeed he has. He gets the verdict just. Great performance from this young man. Didn't ride in the first test. World Under-21 commitments prevented him from making an appearance. Came second in his first outing, but just let's watch this pass again. It's Hancock holding the tight inside line. Screen keeps it all powered on the outside, full throttle, a race to the line, and Screen with more than enough takes the win. So great stuff in heat number 6 from Joe Screen. But it's America still leading by 4 points. They lead by 17 points to 13 as we move on to heat number 6. This is the lineup. Gary Havelock, the reigning British and overseas champion, England captain tonight, partnered here by Andrew Silver, the comeback man in international stakes. And the opposition from the USA for the English lads, well, Sam Ermolenko and Kelly Moran. Kelly Moran certainly looked a little out of touch in his first outing, but Sam Ermolenko looked as sharp as ever. Here we go with heat 6. Watch for Ermolenko in white, away quickly, and Havelock right on his tail. So too is Andrew Silver. Silver, in fact, looking for the inside line underneath Gary Havelock. But the England captain just holding second. And the race really on now to see which one of this England pair is going to be the one to challenge Sam Ermolenko. Well, either of them have got a lot of ground to make up, because Sam really is now stretching out a lead. Looking again a commanding figure here around the track that he knows so well. Heat 6, Ermolenko leads. Second is Gary Havelock, and back in third, Andrew Silver. Looks like a shared one, this one. Barring any misfortune for Ermolenko, it all looks cut and dried. Scored 16 points at Bellevue in the first test, Ermolenko, and equally impressive so far here tonight. Takes the checkered flag, the winner of heat 6. Second in red for England, Gary Havelock. Third blue, Andrew Silver. So they share the points in heat number 6. It's 3 points apiece, but it's the Americans still leading by 4 points. They have 20, England 16. Next piece of action tonight is heat 7, Joe Screen. What a great race he had in his last outing just a couple of heats ago when he came from the back to beat Hancock. What can he make of the opposition this time? He's got Chris Louis from Ipswich as his partner. And for the Americans, it's Ronnie Corrie and Bobby Ott. Ronnie Corrie, one of 3 home track specialists, remember, in the USA squad here tonight. Bobby Ott from Bellevue, a teammate of Joe Screen. Heat number 7, they get underway quickly. Good start from Bobby Ott and Screen. So the 2 Bellevue riders locked in close combat up front. It's Bobby Ott, yellow-black on the inside, but just leading is, well, Screen trying to split the Americans now. Ronnie Corrie right up there in the thick of the action as well. Corrie, in fact, now leads it. Screen in second place, sandwiched between the 2 Americans. because it's Ott who's back in third. Chris Louis missing out on all the action, back in last place, but just watch Screen again, powering his way around the outside of Ronnie Corrie. Not too many riders do that here at Monmore Green. Joe Screen from second to first, showing a tremendous turn of speed. Well, he lines up in the World Under-21 Championship this coming weekend. He really is warming up for that event in some style here tonight. Takes the checkered flag, the winner of Heat 7. Joe Screen really entertaining the supporters here at Wolverhampton tonight with, again, another magnificent performance. And that's the way that he celebrates. Joe Screen wins it. Second, Ronnie Corrie. Third, Bobby Ott. And just watch Joe Screen again. Here we've got a chance to see him firstly come around the outside of Bobby Ott. It's very tight in there. Getting in where angels fear to tread. Joe Screen more than earning his win. And this is the pass that took him way beyond Ronnie Corrie.
You know, it's very important riding for your team, and you know, I'm making bad starts and coming from the back. You know, so.
But you are improving on the gates.
Well, I have been doing, but today is a bit difficult. The starts are really grippy, and I'm struggling to get out. And you know, I just want to concentrate on getting my starts, and then you know, if I make starts, I'll win it easier.
Yeah. But I mean, you wouldn't be able to ride like you do if there weren't any grip. I mean, it seems to be quite grippy out there.
Yeah, the track is quite grippy on the outside. They're just grading it now, as you can see, and you know, the race is going to not be as good because it's going to get slick now on the inside, because that's bringing all the dirt from the outside on the inside, and it's just like ball bearings on concrete, so it's going to be a bit difficult now.
Well, Joe has certainly passed the screen test tonight, if you'll excuse the pun, as far as entertainment goes. Two tremendous pieces of passing action. Well, here's the next piece of tonight's action. This is Heat 8, featuring Gary Havelock, Andrew Silver, they're the England lads, and for the Americans, it's Greg Hancock and Billy Hamill, the pairing from Cradley Heath. Gary Havelock, of course, rides in the Home Fire League for Bradford. Andrew Silver appears for Eastbourne. So it's Havelock in red, Silver blue, Hancock in white, Billy Hamill yellow black. This is Heat 8. And the Americans still leading by 4 points. Good looking start from Greg Hancock. Hancock, the early leader, and he's got his partner Billy Hamill pretty close to him as well, but Silver getting in there amongst the front action. And that really is good to see after his long absence from the international scene. Hancock then leads, Silver still just holding that second place ahead of Billy Hamill. So really all eyes here on the rider in blue to see if he can continue to split the Americans. Just loses out temporarily there. Billy Hamill saw a chance, but Silver had the fast outside line. And he keeps his second place. But Hancock it is who leads comfortably. 15 points in the first test for Greg Hancock. A vastly improved rider over the past couple of years. Rides for Cradley, also appears in the Swedish Elite League as well. So Hancock it is who takes the checkered flag in first place, picks up 3 points for America in Heat 8. Second place, well done, Andrew Silver, and in third place, Gary Havelock. So the points shared there in Heat 8, 3 apiece. America still leading by 4. They have 26 points, England 22. So after that triumphant return to the pits for Hancock, the riders out on the circuit for the next one, Heat 9. Kelvin Tatum plus Marvin Cox in the red and blue for England. For the US of A, in the white and yellow-black, Sam Ermolenko. And his brother Charles, who comes in as reserve replacement for Kelly Moran. Very much out of touch tonight. So two Wolverhampton track specialists here representing the USA. See what Tatum and Cox have to say about that. Here we go with Heat 9. Tatum off the inside, but he's quickly headed by Ermolenko. Ermolenko from Tatum and getting up there as well as Marvin Cox. Cox now, in fact, leading from Ermolenko. Right, Sam, you've really got a battle on your hands in this one. Sam Ermolenko on his own patch, headed by Marvin Cox. Well, credit to the Englishman. Marvin Cox in blue, rides for Poole, drafted in as replacement for Graham Jones, who's injured, and doing well here for England in Heat 9. Cox from Ermolenko, and a fair lead too for the Englishman. Ermolenko coming now though with a late bid. Surge on the inside line. Cox from Ermolenko. Great scrap up front between this pairing. Back in third is Kelvin Tatum. But Ermolenko now tries the inside lunge, takes Cox wide. Cox just glances back, knows that he's beaten. Ermolenko left it late, but it was a successful pass right on the final turn. And that earns Sam Ermolenko another 3 points. And it earns America a share of the spoils. Look at this late pass from Ermolenko here. Cox on the outside, seemingly had the race in his pocket. Ermolenko came late. Tremendous run on the inside. Takes Cox, moves him right over. And that's really what speedway passing is all about. Great stuff from Ermolenko. Wolverhampton's Mr. Beer celebrating that victory. So here we can see the scorers so far for the USA. They lead by 29 points to 25 at the halfway stage. And their top scorer is Ermolenko with 9 points. Hasn't been headed so far. Hancock's had a good night as well with 7. And Ronnie Corrie chipping in with 6 points. So England with a real battle on their hands here tonight. They're trailing by 4 points, but in the second half, if they can get it together, they can still resurrect something from this 3-match series. Joe Screen certainly having a good go tonight. 8 points, the top scorer for England at this stage. The captain, Gary Havelock, has 5. So 9 heats completed. Further action to come from this second test, and all of that will be coming along straight after the break. So welcome back to Monmore Green, Wolverhampton, where the USA lead by 29 points to 25 in this, the second test in a series of 3. Having completely dominated the first encounter, they lead here tonight by 4 points. So England still well in with a shout. And they've got their captain appearing here in Heat 10. That's Gary Havelock. A lot of responsibility on Gary's young shoulders tonight. Andrew Silver, his partner. And for the USA, well, it's Ronnie Corrie, home track specialist in white, partnered in yellow and black by Bobby Ott. So let's see what the England lads can make of this one. Heat 10. Up go the tapes. Great start from the outside from Havelock. Good start too from Andrew Silver. England looking good. Bobby Ott up there as well for good measure for the USA. But Ott now pushed out of it and pulls a big locker there, and that causes Ronnie Corrie to go off. Well, Ronnie Corrie dropping off, quickly remounting. No serious damage sustained, thank goodness for that. But it was all the fault really of Bobby Ott. Pulled a giant locker there in his effort to make up ground on the England pairing. So a race here really that has put the cat firmly back amongst the pigeons. The USA leading by 4. This will square it off. Havelock just checking back that his partner Andrew Silver is still with him. And indeed he is. Silver doing really well in this one, keeping Bobby Ott at bay. Havelock leads in the red, Silver in second. And these two looking to produce maximum points for Great Britain. There's the checkered flag. That's a victory for Gary Havelock. Shows his delight. Shows his delight with his own performance, and with that of his partner there, Andrew Silver. They have a little chat about that one. It's a 5-1 for England. They square it off now at 30 points apiece after 10 races. So moving on to the next one, heat number 11. Gary Havelock and Silver, great performance in Heat 10. Gary Havelock, the winner, England's top scorer, in fact, in the first test with 11. And regular Screen Sport viewers will no doubt recall Gary's double success this year in winning the British and Overseas Speedway Finals earlier in the summer. So it's 30 points apiece, Heat 11, Kelvin Tatum and Marvin Cox representing England, Greg Hancock and Billy Hamill it is for the USA. Away they go, good start from the Americans. Greg Hancock certainly the first to show, and Billy Hamill right up there alongside him as well. So the USA piling on the pressure again here in heat number 11. The pair of them squeezing out the Englishman in blue. That's Marvin Cox, and Kelvin Tatum right out of the picture. Been a little off colour recently, has Kelvin Tatum. Collapsed in the pits, in fact, at Bradford in the recent World Individual Speedway Championship semi-final. Just been undergoing hospital tests to see what the problem was. He still managed to qualify from that semi-final for the World Final itself, but he's looking decidedly off colour again here tonight. Most untypical, really, of him. So Marvin Cox it is, left here to fly the English flag. He's back in third place, though. America looking again for a 5-1, which they now collect. There's the checkered flag, the end of heat number 11. A victory for Greg Hancock. Second, good performance from Billy Hamill, just returning from injury. And third, Marvin Cox. USA, well, they take a 5-1. They're back in the driving seat here, leading by 35 points to 31. Hancock and Hamill, the Cradley pairing, gaining maximum points. So heat number 12 coming up next. Joe Screen in the red helmet colour. Well, so far, Joe really has produced some of the meeting highlights with some great passing manoeuvres. See what he can make of this one. His partner is Sean Wilson, who comes in here as replacement for Chris Louis. Gets a reserve outing, young Sean. And for the Americans, it's Sam Ermolenko and Charles Ermolenko coming in again for Kelly Moran. So the Americans lead by 4. England needs something here from Screen. Up go the tapes. We watch for Screen off gate 2. Gets a little bit of an elbow from Charles Ermolenko. Sam Ermolenko it is who leads. Charles is in second place. Sean Wilson battling away in third. So too is Screen. Charles Ermolenko under all sorts of threat. Still holding on to second place just behind his brother Sam, who leads. Joe Screen now slipping through on the inside of Ermolenko. And we look now for Wilson to see what he can do. He's through as well. So Charles Ermolenko relegated from second to last. The two English boys both getting through. Sam Ermolenko, though, it is who leads by a long, long way as they take the yellow. 1 lap remaining of this Monmore Green circuit. Gigantic lead here for Sudden Sam. But Screen and Wilson both doing well to get through to second and third, respectively. Sam Ermolenko then keeps his unbeaten record intact tonight. Certainly is one of Speedway's most prolific point scorers at the moment. One of the main reasons why Wolverhampton lifted their first ever British League title last season. Ermolenko wins it. It's 3 apiece, and it's the USA still leading by those 4 points. They have 38, England 34. But that is 12 points in the bag for Ermolenko. And we just see how his brother here again got caught. Pushed hard here by Sean Wilson on the outside line. And as Wilson pushes hard on the outside, Screen comes up on the inside. And Ermolenko's starting to think, I'm under a bit of pressure here. Well, he's under a lot of pressure here as well. This is Screen coming through now into the inside position. And Screen takes him out a little wide. Ermolenko locks up and loses ground. And as he does so, Wilson has the chance to come through. Well, this is how they fared so far individually in tonight's test match between England and the USA. Ermolenko keeps his unbeaten record intact at this stage. He has 12 points from those 4 very impressive rides. Hancock also showing up well with 10 points so far. Ronnie Corrie has 6 and Bobby Ott on 5 together with Billy Hamill. For Great Britain, Joe Screen leading the way with 10 points, and in exciting style, Gary Havelock, the captain, has 8 points. Andrew Silver on 6, Marvin Cox 5, and then it's 2 apiece for Kelvin Tatum, Chris Louis and Sean Wilson. We'll have further action for you from Wolverhampton right after the break.
The 2 captains here, Sam Ermolenko, Gary Havelock. Sam, first of all, it's your home track, but obviously it is tough going out there tonight.
Well, when you get a field like this, top internationals from both sides, anything can happen, and they're all experts, and it doesn't matter. Home track advantage, I don't think, plays a part on this kind of a competition.
The Americans had a great first test. Much tougher this one tonight, and that last race of yours was a cracker.
Yeah, they're going strong, and we know we got to go strong as well to keep it up. But I think it'll be a battle to the end, and we feel confident. I'm sure they feel the same.
Well, Gary, it's important for England tonight to square this one off to make it more interesting in the third test. 4 points in it right now.
Yeah, it's tight, you know. As I said, the first test match at Bellevue, we didn't really pick the right guys for the track, but now we've got a couple of little track specialists in, and it seems to be evening out a lot more. But say that the Americans are always hard to beat, no matter where they ride, and you know, we're keeping there with them, and we're going to try and increase it a bit in the second half, and maybe try and get the win, because we need it really to go into the 1-0 into the decider.
So the rival captains there having a word with Mike Bennett, as Gary Havelock says it really is tight tonight. The Americans leading by 4 points. They have 38, England 34. This is heat number 13, featuring David Norris. He's come in as replacement for Kelvin Tatum, plus Marvin Cox. And for the Americans, it's Ronnie Corrie and Bobby Ott. So a chance here for young Norris, the 19-year-old from Ipswich. Up go the tapes quickly. Not a great start from Norris, but a good one from Bobby Ott, leading from David Norris, who's up there now in second place. So Ott leads it, Norris in second, looking good. Third spot is Marvin Cox. And a bit of a surprise here to see that Ronnie Corrie is at the rear of the pack. So Bobby Ott in first position, just checking back, sees that he's got David Norris hot on his tail. Bobby Ott, well, they call him Mr. Showtime, and he really is one of those colourful and charismatic performers in the world of Speedway. Really has had a great season as well. Really did bottle up the opposition in the first test when he scored a full maximum on his own track at Bellevue. Ott leading from David Norris as they take the checkered flag. Good performance from the young Ipswich rider. And finishing in third place also for England there, Marvin Cox. So they share the points in heat number 13, 3 apiece. And it's still the USA leading by those 4 points. England 37, the Americans 41. So the riders facing the tapes for the next one, heat the 14. Joe Screen plus David Norris out again here. This time as a replacement for his Ipswich teammate Chris Louis. Another chance for Norris, not surprising after his good performance in heat 13. The American opposition, Greg Hancock and Billy Hamill. Pretty tough for England here again in heat 14. Let's see what they make of the start. It's Screen off the outside. Screen on the outside and goes heavily there, right through the safety fence. Well, it was almost a case of 4 into 1 bend wouldn't go. The referee stopping the race. And we just see it again. It was almost 4 in a line, and the rider on the outside there, Joe Screen in red, really with nowhere to go, squeezed out of it and goes flying through the safety fence. But, well, he's on his feet here with Gary Havelock, the England captain. And let's indeed hope he's fit again to take his place in the restaging of heat 14. So a nasty little moment there for the rider who's given us so many thrills here tonight so far. So the referee's ruling, no penalty. They all go again in heat 14. Joe Screen, David Norris, Greg Hancock and Billy Hamill. Each of those riders made good starts the last time round. That was the problem, really. They were all bidding for the same sort of patch around those first couple of corners. And Joe Screen, of course, the rider on the outside, really left short of room. So the starting marshal steps back. The riders all poised. Out go the clutches, and away they go again. And America really dominating from the start once more. Certainly Billy Hamill made a great bid from the tapes. And Greg Hancock in white up there in second place, but coming under a lot of pressure again. Brave performance here from Joe Screen, who really crashed out heavily in the original race. But he's really having a go once more. This man really has nerves of steel. Billy Hamill leading. Screen has forced his way through to second place, just ahead of Greg Hancock. And David Norris at the back had a great ride last time, but he can't really get up there amongst this company. So heat the 14, great racing once again here at Monmore Green, but it's Billy Hamill who leads from Joe Screen. On the final turns, they take the checkered flag now. Billy Hamill wins it for the USA. Second place, another great performance from Joe Screen. And in third place, also for America, Greg Hancock. So that adds up to a 4-2 heat advantage for the Americans, who now up their advantage on the night to 6 points. 45 for the USA, 39 for England. A nice sporting gesture between first and second place riders there at the conclusion of the 14th, as we now prepare for the next one, heat 15, with the England captain Gary Havelock in red, Andrew Silva, who's had a pretty good night on his return to International Speedway in blue, Sam Ermolenko white, Charles Ermolenko in yellow-black. Ermolenko unbeaten so far, makes a good trap. Ermolenko the early leader, pressed hard by Silva. Silva up on the inside line, but Ermolenko comes fast off the outside to recapture his lead. Ermolenko leads from Silva, with Gary Havelock pegged back into third position. So Andrew Silva, the rather upright style of the Eastbourne rider, hasn't had a bad night. Certainly been a chance for him to resurrect his international career after spending several seasons out of the spotlight. The potential really that was so evident some 5 years ago never really has blossomed, but he's back in the international arena this evening. Sam Ermolenko, he's never really been far away from it, leading with just 1 lap remaining of heat 15. The Americans leading by 6 points, and a 3-3 here certainly will suit them. Ermolenko heads for home once again, takes the checkered flag, still unbeaten tonight. Second place, Andrew Silva, good ride. And in third spot, Gary Havelock. So they share the points there in heat the 15, 3 apiece. And the Americans still leading by half a dozen points. They have 48 to England's 42. And England, remember, so desperately needing a win tonight to square off the series, with 1 test remaining. That to come at Swindon next month. But it's Ermolenko once again who takes the plaudits from heat 15. Next one up and coming, heat 16. And riding in red, well, it's that man again, Joe Screen. Really has produced some magical moments so far tonight. Great excitement produced by this young Bellevue rider, who bids for glory, not just tonight, but this coming weekend in the World Under-21 Championship. Chris Louis, his partner, for America, Ronnie Corrie and Bobby Ott. Heat 16, 6 points the gap between the sides. So away we go. Good start from Ronnie Corrie. Didn't do too much in his last outing, but he's making up for that here in this one. Corrie leads it from Screen, and Screen with a bit of a problem as well, because Bobby Ott is mounting a fair old challenge. Corrie leads it, the Wolverhampton-based rider out in front, and Screen having a bit of a hairy tie, because Bobby Ott is pressing, and Chris Louis hasn't given up the chase either. So the battle really on here for the minor positions. But Ronnie Corrie seemingly unaware of all the drama that's unfolding behind him. Corrie, a comfortable leader up front, but my word, a fair old scrap for second and third places. Screen still holding second, and Bobby Ott back in third place. Well, Ott never gives up, so Screen will have to keep motoring. And he looks as if poor old Chris Louis is going to finish with nothing. So heat 16, they take the checkered flag. A win for Ronnie Corrie. The pint-sized little Californian takes the win. Second place, Joe Screen, and in third, Bobby Ott. So America now stretching out a lead for themselves of 8 points. They pick up a 4-2 there. They've got 52 points, England 44. So 2 races remaining here at Wolverhampton tonight. And America now have stretched out a lead for themselves of 8 points. This is heat 17. And here we can see the lineup: Gary Havelock, Andrew Silva, Greg Hancock and Billy Hamill. Billy Hamill starting off the outside line. Gate 3, that's the position for Andrew Silva. Greg Hancock is off gate 2. And it's Gary Havelock off the inside gate number 1 for the England captain. 8 points in the gap. England desperate for points here. What can Havelock do? Good start for the England captain. Greg Hancock also away well. And what about Andrew Silva up on the inside for good measure? But it's Hancock not to be denied. Off the fast outside line, Hancock now leads them. Hugging the outside, then cutting back onto the inside around the tight turns. Hancock leads it now from Gary Havelock, the early pace setter, relegated now to second place. So it was a great start for the England captain. And Andrew Silva still holding on to, well, he was holding on to third place. He's lost it now as Billy Hamill squeezes his way through. So it's America in first and third positions. And heat number 17 proving to be bad news for England. If it stays this way, the gap will open to 10 points. And that will be good night to the English lads. And it will be a 2-0 lead for the Americans in the series. So Hancock and Havelock involved in a duel up front, but it's Hancock who takes the checkered flag. Heat number 17, he's the winner. Second, Havelock, and third, Billy Hamill. So Hancock wins from Havelock. These two, in fact, were involved in a run-off for the World Pairs title in Italy last month. England and the USA had both finished on 23 points apiece. Hancock won it. So a repeat of that duel there in heat number 17, the duel that decided the World Pairs title this year. But as a result of that race, it's the Americans leading here tonight by 10 points. As we look at the lineup here for the final piece of action, heat 18, Tatum, Cox, Ermolenko, and Larson comes into the action. Replacement for Kelly Moran. Larson in yellow-black, he hasn't made a bad start, leading from Kelvin Tatum at the moment, with Ermolenko now starting to show from the back. Ermolenko in white. Larson leads it for America, and Ermolenko through now to second position ahead of Kelvin Tatum. And Marvin Cox squeezed out of the front three action. Well, Josh Larson rides for Arena Essex in the Home Fire League. This is his first season of British Speedway action. Really has made a big impact, and he's coming to the action here tonight, running the final race. And what an impression. Larson leads it, Ermolenko in second place, so if Larson can keep going, there's no real danger to him. Pegged back into third position is England's Kelvin Tatum. So the Americans looking to finish off the job in style, looking for a 5-1 here in the final race, which they get. Larson it is, plunged into the action right in the final race, picks up the win. Second Ermolenko, third Tatum. America take a 5-1, and they win tonight's second test by 61 points to 47. So they certainly finish off the job in style. A comprehensive victory for the Americans. They've now got an unassailable 2-0 lead in this three-match series. 68-40 in the first test, 61-47. They win here at Wolverhampton tonight. So the Americans can celebrate their victory.
All right, Jono, it's great to see you. It's been some time.
Yes, it's been quite some time since been to speedway racing. Okay, I've been to Cradley a couple of times, but I was lying down for quite a while, so I couldn't go to speedway.
Yeah. So since when did you get up?
I got out of bed about 1st of July. That's when I came back to England. And since then, I've been up and about, sort of, you know. Of course, more and more as time has got on. So it's getting better now, let's say that way.
So what's the verdict from the physicians? What are they saying about the effects of the... I mean, this is a damage to your back, in case, people don't know.
That's right. It's a broken back. It's 3 broken vertebrae in the chest section and some broken ribs. That's what I did. The verdict so far is they operated on me, put 2 metal bars and some clamps in my back to hold everything together. Which is nice. Yeah. And after that, they said it'll take about 12 to 18 months before it should be healed up. What my future in Speedway is, unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure yet. The doctors are, though, very positive about it. They said I shouldn't get too many long-term effects for it. Of course, they can't guarantee anything, that's the thing. So I'm going, on Wednesday, I'm going to see my doctor in Denmark to see what he's saying about the healing process. Plus, I've been going to physio for twice a week since I came to England. And which has helped me a lot. It's given me a lot of movement, which when I came to England I was like completely stiff. My back, and didn't walk very far, which I'm a lot better now.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you want to do is now very difficult to say. I mean, is it still an ambition to get back on the tracks?
It's still an ambition to come back racing again. The problem is, as I said before, the doctor's version of everything, and of course, once the doctors decide, I have to come out and try and see if it will restrict me in any way, which,
it's no use going back if you can't run 100%.
No, if I can't go out and do what I did before, then I'm not coming back.
No.
That's 100% sure. I couldn't live with it, and I don't think
the audience wouldn't.
The audience wouldn't agree either. So, but if I have to go out there, I want to be 100% fit and do some proper racing again.
Are you going to go to Poland and see Per Jonsson snatch back his title?
If anybody gives me a ticket for me and Caroline to go, then I will go.
If anybody, are you telling me they are not inviting you?
Nobody's invited me yet, so if anybody invites me, then I'll be there watching or doing whatever. But
it's horrible. It's horrible, yeah. No. What do you think about the match today, then?
The match today was really, really good. It was a really good match to watch. When you send it, I'm sure there'll be a lot of good people. There's some really good racing here. Joe Screen rode his heart out here today, which was very impressive to look at. And I enjoyed some of his passing out here because it was very cleverly done. You know, it was done the way it should be done, and it looked so good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, and let's hope you get well.
Well, let's hope I get some tickets to see the World Final then. But thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, they really are a brave breed, Speedway riders, aren't they? Great to see Jano in buoyant mood, and we certainly wish him well for the future, which we must say looks a little bit uncertain Speedway-wise. Well, he enjoyed the action tonight. We hope that you did as well. The USA won it. These are their scorers. Top man for the Americans, Sam Ermolenko with 17, well supported by the rest of the squad as well. So the Americans capturing a 2-0 series lead. Great Britain put up a much better show tonight than they did in the first test at Bellevue. We have to say that. Their top man this evening, not just in point scoring, but also in entertainment value, has to be Joe Screen, finishing with 14. Well supported by the captain, Gary Havelock, who finished with 12. So, 2-0 in the series then for the Americans. Really are a great force in World Speedway again these days. The early pioneer, perhaps, Scott Autry, back in the early 70s, but the Americans have gone from strength to strength, really, since then. One test still to come.
Starting